Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about rounding, and it's very common in science to round to either the nearest tenths, hundreds, or thousands. So these are the positions for each of the different types of rounding. So if I were to round to the nearest tenths, I would be looking at this position, only one number after to the right of the decimal. Hundreds would be two numbers after the decimal, and thousands would be three numbers after the decimal. So say I asked you to round to the nearest tenth, this number 4.567. The tens position is immediately or one number after the decimal to the right of the decimal. So this 5 right here. So if I were to round this, it would be 4.5. However, when you want to write your final answer, you should always look to the right of the number that you're trying to round. So since I'm trying to round to the nearest tens, I'm looking at 5 because this is in the tens position. I'm going to look to the right of this number and I see 6. Here's one thing you need to know. 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise the score. So if the number to the right of the number you're trying to round is 4 or less, then you just leave it as it is. But if the number to the right is 5 or more, then you're going to add +1 to this 5 right here. For instance, if I were to round 4.569 to the nearest tenth, instead of just writing it as 4.5, I would write it as 4.6 because the number to the right of the 5 is 5 or more. So I'm going to add a +1, so it's going to be 4.6. If the number to the right was less than 5 or 4 or less, then I would just leave this as 4.5. Here's another example. If I have 36.8971 as my number and I want to round to the nearest thousands, I'm going to look at the thousands position, which is three numbers next to the decimal, to the right of the decimal, so 7. However, instead of just writing it as 36.897, I'm going to look to the right of this number first. So I see 1. Since 1 is less than 4, 4 or less, I'm going to leave 7 as it is. So it's going to be 36.897. However, if I had 35.327 and I wanted to round to the nearest hundreds, then I would just look at the hundreds position, which is this 2 right here. That's two numbers after the decimal. Instead of writing 35.32, I'm going to look to the right of the number 2 first, and I see that it's 7. Since 7 is 5 or more, or greater than 5, I'm going to add +1 to the 2 and should be 35.33. That's how I round. Here are some other examples. If I have this number and I want to round to the nearest thousands, then I just keep three numbers after the decimal. But no, notice that the thousands place is 7 right here, but to the right of 7 is 7. That's 5 or more. So I'm going to add +1 to the 7. That gives me 1.778. Final thing, say you just have a 1 and I wanted you to round it to the nearest thousands. All you have to do is add a decimal and some zeros up to the number that I'm asking you to round it to. So it would be 1.000. And that's it.